Hi class! Today we are going to jump right into Unit 6 in our math curriculum, which is going to be decimals. Okay, so I know a lot of you are happy about being done with fractions for now. So this should be a fun unit. We are going to be doing all kinds of things. We're going to be multiplying decimals. We're going to be dividing decimals. There'll be a couple other things thrown in there. Okay, but the majority of this unit is decimals. And we're going to start off by multiplying decimals by powers of 10. So I want to just really quickly review powers of 10 and some really important vocabulary that goes along with this, just so you can, get your memory back to when we worked with things like exponents, because this is what's going to help us multiply and divide, but that will be the next lesson, powers of 10. Okay. So power of 10, you might remember, you might have seen something, which actually I know you have seen something because we did it in class, that looks like this, 10 to the power of 3. Okay, so there's two ways that there's a couple ways you can say this, but we have said it 10 to the power of 3, or 10 to the third power, or 10 with an exponent of 3. So remember the word exponent, okay? An exponent was that little number. When we look at 10 to the third power, we know that this is really saying 10 multiplied 3 times, right? Not 10 times 3, 10 times 10 times 10. So multiply 10 3 times. We also know that when we worked with powers of 10 and exponents, we used that little number, that exponent, to tell us how many zeros would be in our number, okay? We were working with thousands and hundreds, 10,000 and 100,000. So we know that we'd put our 1, and that little 3 there, that exponent 3, would tell me that there's 3 zeros, okay? I hope that this is sort of coming back to you now. We'll do maybe one more, and then I will get into multiplying decimals by powers of 10 and what that means. All right, so let's look at, let's just do maybe 10 to the power of 5, okay? 10 to the 5th power. So this tells me that I'm multiplying 10 5 times. 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That matches my exponent, which is 5. And I know that I could also write it like this. Have my 1 and my 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that number is 100,000. All right. Now that you remember what that exponent is and the word exponent, we're going to get right into multiplying decimals, okay, by powers of 10. But before we do that, I want to just play a little song for you, because what normally would happen is we would be in class, right? I'm sad that we're not, but this is where we are, so we're going to make the best of it. I'm going to try to do what I would do in class. So normally what would happen is we would be in class, and as you walked in, I would have a song playing, okay? I'm going to play that song, and you're going to kind of see me hold something up, and I'll explain why. Sometimes I like to remember certain things by putting music to it. I don't know about you, but that helps me remember things. And, like when we remember how to spell because, B-E-C-A-U-S-E, because, all right? So you might recognize this song. I'm pretty sure you probably danced to it last year at Liberty Lakes and at the Halloween dance or whatever else you did. But I want you to get this song stuck in your head. It's already stuck in mine because I've been listening to it. I want it stuck in your head because I want you to learn just a quick little, just like kind of a shortcut on how to remember multiplying and dividing decimals by powers of 10, okay? So you'll recognize this really quick, and we'll listen just for a little bit of it.
They say I'm a rapper, and I say no. Come on, say what you doing, trying to do somebody go. I just let the music come from my soul, so all of my people can stay on the floor. They got a brand new dance, you gotta move your muscles. Brand new dance, it's called a Cupid Shuffle. It don't matter if you're young or you're old. Here we go. we gon' show you how it goes. To the right, to the right, to the right, to the right, to the left, to the left, to the left, to the left. Now kick, now kick, now kick, now kick. Now walk it by yourself. Now walk it by yourself. Now,
all right. So you got that chorus stuck in your head, right? To the right, to the right, to the right, to the right. I like to kind of call it the decimal shuffle. And in my head, when I'm doing decimals by powers of 10, I like to think in my head, to the right, to the right, to the right, multiply, to the left, to the left, to the left, to divide. But we're not dividing today, we're just multiplying. Okay, so to the right, multiply. Just stick that in your head and you'll see what I mean. All right, so multiplying decimals by power of 10, I'm going to erase this and we are going to get officially started. Now remember when you're multiplying, the product, which is the answer to a multiplication problem, tends to get bigger, right? So just think of that. If you get confused, you know that you're going to make a number bigger. So multiplying by powers of 10, here we go. I'm going to use the number, or the decimal I should say, 4.536 times 10 to the second power. So using my song, to the right, to the right, to the right, multiply, right? I'm moving to the right, but moving what? Watch me. Here's my decimal. I'm multiplying, so I'm going to look at my exponent, that little number there, and that tells me 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my decimal 2 spaces to the, you guessed it, right, okay? To the right, multiply. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this decimal down here just to give myself some room. To the right, to the right, to the right, multiply. 2 is my exponent. I'm going to move this decimal, 1, 2, okay? And then I'm going to rewrite my number like that. All I did was move that decimal. And look at how this number got bigger, because when we multiply, our answer, our product gets bigger. This was only 4.5, right? So it was smaller than 5. It was in between 4 and 5. Now look, 453.6. Okay? You're moving your decimal to the right. How many spaces are you moving it? Look at your exponent. Let's try another one. I'm going to do 4.536 just like I did before, but I'm going to show you with a different exponent. So now we're going to move it 4, okay? I'm going to rewrite my number, and I know to the right, multiply. I'm moving it to the right. How many spots am I moving it? How many spaces? How many places? Whichever word you want to use. Well, I'm going to do it 4 because that's what my exponent tells me. And I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. Oh no. Can you guess what I have to do? Make another space. Okay? And you're just going to add a 0 there. So my new number is 45,360. Okay? Now you can put your little decimal there if you want. We still don't know if this is a whole number because anything in front of the decimal is the whole number, right? Remember? And anything behind the decimal is less than a whole. All right? So look at that. We started at 4.5. I'll just say 4.5, okay? And we ended at 45,000 something. All right? Now, you won't always have to add a space, It depends on what your exponent is, but just be aware that that might pop up a couple of times. Okay, let's try another one. Let's just do a number like 2.7391, okay? Times 10 to the second power. To the right, multiply. Okay, if I'm multiplying, if I see that multiplication symbol, I know I'm going to the right. I'm going to rewrite this. And I'm going to move my decimal how many spots? I'm going to find out by looking at my exponent, that little number there. That tells me I'm moving it 2, 1, 2. So my new number is going to be 273.91. Okay? Pay attention to how my number got bigger. I started at 2.7. Now I'm at 273, all right? We'll do another one where you have to add zeros, okay? So you can see that again. Let's use this number, 2.73. Okay. Multiplying. I'm going to say 10 to the, let's say 5. Let's make it tough, okay? It's not really tough. You're probably watching this thinking, all right, Mrs. Bryant, I know how to count spots. All right, 2.73 times 10 to the 5th power. Now, the reason that I'm emphasizing our times or multiplication is because our next lesson will be about dividing decimals by powers of 10. So you have to pay attention to your signs. It is extremely important, okay? Because you might, by next week, we might have some multiplication and then some division. So the biggest thing is to remember, and that's why I showed you that song, is because if you forget, oh no, do I go right or left? Sing the song in your head. To the right, to the right, to the right, multiply. Okay? I'm going to go 5 spaces. So let me rewrite this. 2.73, all right? And I know that I'm doing times 10 to the 5th. I'm going to the right. Ooh, get ready, okay? Make sure that you are careful when you move that decimal, okay? Especially if you're going to have to add zeros. So let's count. I want you to count with me. I know I can't hear you, but I still want you to be counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can put that decimal there so you know that you moved over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in those empty spots right there, you're going to add a 0 or zeros, okay? Wow, that's a big number. So our new number okay, and that decimal was there, which just means that's a whole number. So 273,000, okay? So we went from 2.3, so like number 2, almost 3, to 273,000, okay? That is multiplying decimals by powers of 10. Important things to remember, key points. Look at your exponent. Your exponent or your little number is what is going to give you how many spaces you're going over. It might be 1, it might be 2 spaces, it might be 3, 4, 5, 6 maybe. But that exponent is going to tell you how many spaces you're moving. Okay? Your multiplication symbol is going to tell you that you're multiplying. Get that decimal shuffle stuck in your head. Okay? To the right, multiply. So you know that you're moving your decimal to the right. How many spaces? Look at your exponent and that will tell you. You are not doing any type of multiplication. I don't want to see or hear any of you are doing something that looks like this, because that's not what we're doing, okay? All you're doing is moving the decimal, okay? This should be a pretty easy lesson. Take a look at Google Classroom for your assignment, okay? Have it in the math section, and I think you guys will do great, all right? Decimal shuffle. To the right, multiply. Bye.